Welcome back to the Restricted Handling Daily Intel Brief. This is what's been going on in China in the past 24 hours. Taiwan has approved a very large military drone program, but the vote was also a fight over who controls the money. The opposition-led parliament agreed to spend 40 billion new Taiwan dollars a year for 6 years. That works out to about 240 billion, with a goal of acquiring roughly 210,000 drones. At the same time, lawmakers rejected the government's preferred special budget, which was smaller in total but covered a broader mix of unmanned systems. That is why the easy headline, "Opposition blocks defense" or "Opposition backs defense," misses the point. The Kuomintang and Taiwan People's Party accepted the need for mass drone procurement while moving spending into annual review. President Lai Ching-te's government wanted a special appropriation that could move faster and cover more categories. Annual review gives Parliament tighter supervision. It also gives politics another chance to delay or reshape the program every year. The real measure is not the number of airframes. Taiwan needs secure communications, software that works when networks are jammed, trained operators, repair shops, munitions integration, and suppliers that can keep building during a blockade. Buying at this scale could create a strong domestic industrial base. It could also produce incompatible systems and uneven quality if speed overwhelms testing. Beijing will exploit any delay between the vote, the contract, the delivery, and the unit that can actually use the equipment. China's new industrial profit numbers tell a similarly mixed story. Profits at major industrial firms rose 17.6% in the first 7 months of the year. July growth remained strong, but slowed from June. Electronics, non-ferrous metals, and fiber optic equipment posted extraordinary gains, pushed by artificial intelligence infrastructure and government-backed upgrading. Those are real results. They are also concentrated results. Property remains weak, households are cautious, and private borrowing is uneven. A policy system can direct capital toward chips, servers, networks, and advanced manufacturing, then produce impressive output. The next question is whether customers at home and abroad can absorb that output profitably. If demand does not broaden, the same industrial engine can create falling prices, trade friction, and bad investment. Watch margins and orders, not only production. Weather is adding a new variable. Heat and flooding are threatening corn and soy crops in northeastern China and cotton in Xinjiang. That matters for food security, but it also matters for China's trade relationship with the United States. Beijing is expected to buy more American farm goods. A weaker domestic harvest would make those purchases economically useful and help meet trade commitments at the same time. The politics are easier when an import can be described as practical supply management rather than a concession. Crop damage is still uncertain, so the next signals are provincial yield estimates, reserve releases, insurance claims, and actual tenders. Beijing can shift suppliers and use stockpiles. It cannot control the weather. Extreme conditions reduce the room to use food purchases as a purely symbolic lever. China is also considering a new legal tool for pursuing corruption suspects and assets overseas. The draft law would create a specific cross-border framework for investigations, repatriation, trials, and asset recovery. Chinese authorities say Operation Skynet has returned more than 3,000 fugitives from over 120 countries and recovered about $10 billion. From Beijing's perspective, this closes a loophole that lets corrupt officials escape with public money. Foreign governments will focus on due process, evidence, sovereignty, and coercion, especially where there is no extradition treaty. A clearer law can improve formal cooperation. It can also intensify concern that unofficial pressure is being wrapped in domestic legal authority. This will become another test of how far China expects its rules to travel. The anti-corruption campaign reached a major sitting official today. Jiangsu Governor Ye Jianchun is under investigation for what the party watchdog calls serious violations of discipline and law. Jiangsu is one of China's richest and most industrialized provinces. Removing its governor affects administration and business confidence even before the public learns the actual allegation. The message to officials is that provincial rank offers no protection. The risk is that fear of investigation makes cadres avoid difficult decisions along with corrupt ones. Xi Jinping's next trip shows the external side of the same state-centered model. He will attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Kyrgyzstan, make a state visit there, and then travel to Egypt for his first state visit at that level in a decade. Central Asian states want investment and security coordination without losing autonomy. Egypt wants financing and strategic options while keeping its Western and Gulf relationships. Beijing will describe the itinerary as practical, multipolar cooperation and solidarity across the global South. The test is whether the summits produce real projects, financing, security mechanisms, or market access. Language about the Shanghai spirit is familiar. Bankable commitments would show the institutions are becoming more than diplomatic stages. Then there is the case of Gao Zhen, a 70-year-old dissident artist sentenced to 3 years in prison over art satirizing Mao Zedong. Some of the work predates the 2018 law used against him. He was detained during a visit to China, the trial was closed, diplomats were barred from the sentencing, and his wife and American citizen son have faced exit restrictions. Washington says it has significant concerns. The case shows how control over historical memory becomes present-day risk for artists and families. Chinese state media connects these stories through a simple frame. Party discipline protects development. Technology-led industry proves the economic model is working. Xi offers cooperation through the SCO and the Global South. Foreign wars and political confrontation are placed beside Chinese summits, factory gains, and orderly administration. In that telling, control is not the price of stability. Control is what produces stability. Watch Taiwan's first drone contracts, technical standards, and annual funding fights. Watch whether industrial profit spreads beyond policy-favored technology. Follow the implementing language in the cross-border corruption law and the actual allegations against Ye Jianchun. Then compare Xi's summit communiques with the projects that get funded. Those details will show whether scale and control are creating durable capacity or just impressive numbers with unresolved weaknesses underneath. That's it for today's tour through the world's least relaxing headlines. If this was useful, leave a review or comment. For the deeper dive, head to restrictedhandling.substack.com. Stay sharp.